The truth is, thinning doesn't happen overnight. But fixing it can start overnight. Because there's one thing you can rub on your scalp before bed that quietly wakes up sleeping follicles like nothing else. So, have you ever looked in the mirror, touched your scalp, and wondered, when did my hair start disappearing? If your hairbrush is filling faster than it used to, if your part line looks wider every few months, and if your scalp is starting to peek through in places you never noticed before. You're not imagining it? By the time we hit 60, the numbers get real. Over half of all women experience noticeable thinning. Nearly 2 out of 3 men develop widening bald spots. Not because we did anything wrong, but because aging quietly changes the scalp. Circulation slows down, hormones shift, follicles get less oxygen, less nutrition, and eventually, they shrink. But here's the part most people never hear. Shrunken follicles aren't dead follicles. They're dormant, like tiny seeds waiting for the right signal. And in 2025, we finally understand something powerful. You don't need harsh chemicals, pills, or expensive procedures to wake those follicles up. Sometimes, all you need is the right oil massaged into your scalp before bed. Tonight, we start with the first one. A thick, heavy oil that people over 60 swear by because it doesn't just coat the hair. It goes deep, all the way to the root. Let's get into it. Oil Stir 1, castor oil, the thick, follicle reactivating oil that seniors call a hair saver. Castor oil has become a quiet superstar in 2025, not because it's trendy, but because it flat out works for aging scalps. And if you're over 60, this one deserves a permanent spot on your bathroom shelf. Why thinning accelerates after 60? Nearly 65% of men over 60 and more than half of women deal with significant thinning. The reasons are stacked. Hormones aren't the same. Scalp circulation slows. Nutrient delivery drops. Follicles shrink, sometimes down to half their size. When circulation drops, follicles basically starve. That's where castor oil steps in. Castor oil's secret weapon, ricinoleic acid, 90%. This unusual fatty acid is the reason this oil feels so thick. But that thickness comes with benefits. It boosts circulation to the scalp. It reduces inflammation. One of the biggest hair killers. It reawakens dormant follicles by improving blood flow. Think of ricinoleic acid like a gentle unclogging system that opens tiny blood vessels and brings nutrients back to the base of each strand. Penetrates deeper than most oils. Castor oil doesn't sit on the surface. Its structure allows it to sink all the way into the follicle root. Something older scalps desperately need. After 60, we naturally produce less oil. That means dryness, brittleness, and breakage become an everyday battle. Castor oil acts like a moisture-locking shield. To stop that cycle, real-world results, based on user observations, people 60+ who used castor oil correctly reported 23% less breakage within 2 months. Softer, fuller strands. Better volume around thinning areas. Some even noted up to a 25% increase in hair count across thinning patches. These aren't magic tricks. They're the results of feeding follicles what they've been starving for. What's inside castor oil that makes this happen? Castor oil is packed with vitamin E, repairs tissue and fights oxidative stress, omega-6 fatty acids, essential for follicle structure, moisture-sealing compounds, perfect for dry, aging scalps. Most people don't get enough omega fatty acids from food. Applying them topically gives immediate benefits directly to the follicle. The ideal routine for seniors. Here's the routine people over 60 have been using with the best results. Take 1 tablespoon of castor oil, dilute it with coconut or jojoba oil, warm it slightly, massage for 5 minutes, leave it for 30 to 60 minutes, wash with a gentle shampoo. Repeat 2 to 3 times per week. Massaging alone boosts scalp blood flow by 20%. But combined with castor oil, that number goes way up. Why shedding seems to slow down fast? Normal shedding is 5,100 hairs a day, But once we cross 60, that number can jump to 150 or more. Castor oil helps because it calms inflammation, it strengthens roots, it reduces brittleness, it nourishes follicles directly. In surveys, over 60% of seniors using castor oil noticed less shedding within 1 month. That's why castor oil is always first in this list. It creates the foundation your scalp needs before any other oil can even work properly. But now, let's move to the one ingredient that's making headlines in 2025, the oil that scientists keep comparing to actual hair growth medication. This one's powerful, and if your scalp has been itchy, flaky, inflamed, or thinning in circular patches, this is the one that wakes follicles back up the fastest. Oil number 2. Rosemary oil, the oil backed by science and loved for centuries. Let me tell you something wild. The rosemary oil you find at your store? 1 drop of it requires an entire bucket of rosemary leaves. No wonder it's so potent. And for aging scalps, that strength makes all the difference. Why people over 60 lose hair faster? As we age, hormones shift, blood vessels tighten, follicles get less oxygen, antioxidant levels drop. DHT becomes more powerful. That combination makes follicles shrink, weaken, or completely pause. But rosemary oil does 2 things extremely well. Wakes follicles up, protects them from shrinking again. How rosemary oil stimulates hair growth. Rosemary oil contains cineol carnosic acid. These compounds widen and relax scalp blood vessels, increasing blood flow by up to 30% within minutes. More blood flow, more nutrients, more activity in the hair cycle. In simple terms, rosemary oil tells sleeping follicles, it's time to wake up. The antioxidant effect older adults desperately need after 60, our natural antioxidant defenses fall dramatically. The result? Follicles get damaged faster, hair becomes thinner, scalp becomes more sensitive. Growth slows to a crawl. Rosemary oil fights that oxidative stress. It protects follicles from the damage that normally leads to permanent thinning. Users who applied it for 12 weeks saw thicker strands, less breakage, fuller top and crown, stronger regrowth patterns. This part shocks most people. Rosemary oil's growth effect has been compared to 2% minoxidil, one of the most common medical hair growth treatments. And in some cases, rosemary oil performed just as well after 6 months, without the side effects. Why older scalps respond quickly? Aging scalps often deal with dryness, flaking inflammation, dandruff, mild fungal issues. Rosemary oil is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial circulation boosting, DHT blocking. This combination stops the shrinking cycle happening inside the follicle. That's why it's become a top recommendation worldwide. How to apply rosemary oil safely. Because it's extremely strong, always dilute. 5 drops rosemary oil. 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil massage for 5 minutes. Leave for 30 minutes. Or overnight. Use 3 times weekly. If castor oil strengthens, rosemary oil activates, and together they create a scalp environment that feels young again. But there's still one more oil. One that isn't fancy, expensive, or rare. In fact, it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. And for people over 60, it protects hair from something nobody talks about. Protein loss, the silent enemy that makes strands thinner, weaker, and more breakable every year. And there's one oil that tackles this problem better than anything else. Oil Sugar 3, coconut oil, the everyday oil that protects hair from the inside out. This might surprise you, but coconut oil is one of the most scientifically supported oils for aging hair. Not because it's trendy, not because it smells good, but because of how it interacts with your actual hair structure. After 60, most people deal with 2 things at the same time. Hair falling out from the roots, hair breaking from the lengths you lose hair from both ends. Literally. That's why even people who don't shed much still complain about thinning. Coconut oil helps with both. Why protein loss matters more after 60. As we age, the hair shaft becomes weaker. The outer protective layer thins out, leaving the inside exposed. Every time you wash, comb, or even sleep on a rough pillowcase, hair loses protein, the very thing that gives it strength and thickness. Research shows that coconut oil can penetrate deep into the hair cortex, bind to hair proteins, reduce protein loss during washing by up to 39%. That means your existing hair stays stronger, thicker, and less likely to snap. The magic ingredient, lauric acid. About 50% of coconut oil is lauric acid, a fatty acid with a small molecular size that slips easily into the hair shaft. Most oils sit on the surface. Coconut oil actually goes inside the strand and strengthens it from within. This is why it's a game changer for seniors. Older hair is drier, thinner, more fragile, and less protected. Coconut oil corrects that weakness in a way no other oil can. Hydration support for aging scalps. Another issue after 60, sebum production drops dramatically. Less sebum, hair seeds, drier roots, brittle lengths, more breakage, flaky scalp, more irritation. Coconut oil helps restore moisture naturally by creating a protective barrier that locks hydration in. Users struggling with roughness or dryness saw 68% less dryness within 8 weeks, smoother texture, softer ends, fewer tangles, noticeably stronger strands. This matters because dryness leads to breakage, and breakage leads to thinning. Nutrients your scalp will love. Coconut oil contains vitamin E, supports scalp repair iron. Deficiency is linked to shedding. Zinc, essential for follicle strength. Antioxidants, fight inflammation and oxidative stress. These nutrients help restore balance to aging scalps. What makes coconut oil special for seniors? Here's something many people miss. Up to 40% of adults over 60 deal with low-grade scalp issues, fungal, bacterial, dandruff, or chronic irritation. Lauric acid has been shown to reduce fungal activity by over 70% in controlled conditions, helping keep the scalp clean and balanced. Why is that important? Because a healthy scalp casts healthy follicles. If the scalp is inflamed or infected, hair growth slows dramatically. Circulation boost. Massaging coconut oil into the scalp increases blood flow by about 25%, which is crucial because circulation naturally weakens with age. Better circulation means more nutrients, better oxygen flow, stronger follicle activity, better growth cycles. What users report after 2 to 6 months? People using coconut oil 3x weekly often see 22% less shedding in the first 2 months, less breakage or reduction in rough, dry strands, stronger regrowth over 3 to 6 months, fuller ponytails, smoother hairline coverage, and remember, coconut oil doesn't replace castor or rosemary. It complements them. Think of it like this. Castor oil strengthens the roots. Rosemary oil wakes follicles up. Coconut oil protects the hair you're growing. Together, they create an environment where aging hair doesn't just survive, it actually thrives. Oil under 4. Peppermint oil, the cooling oil that boosts follicle activity. Fast. If there's one oil that works shockingly fast, especially for people over 50 to 60, it's peppermint oil. Not because it's minty, but because of what it does to the blood vessels underneath your scalp. Why it works. Peppermint oil contains menthol, and menthol instantly triggers vasodilation. Blood vessels open wider, 30–45% increase in circulation in targeted areas. Rapid stimulation of sleeping follicles. A famous comparative study found peppermint oil performed better than even 3% minoxidil for hair thickness, hair count follicle, depth, growth speed. Not beat the drug overall, but in the first 4 weeks, peppermint oil triggered faster visible improvements. Why it's ideal for aging scalps. After 55–60, scalp blood flow drops almost 20 to 25%, which is a major reason hair enters the resting phase and doesn't return. Peppermint oil pushes follicles back into the active growth phase, soothes inflammation, cools irritation, reduces itchiness, supports oxygen flow. DHT impact. Peppermint oil mildly reduces DHT accumulation. Not as strong as rosemary, but still helpful for men with receding hairlines, women with postmenopausal thinning. Results: 2025 data. Users over 60 report tingling circulation boost within 2 minutes, reduced shedding in 2 to 4 weeks, visible density improvement in 8 to 10 weeks, thicker baby hairs around temples. How to use peppermint oil is strong. Never apply directly. 2 to 3 drops 1 tablespoon carrier oil, coconut, jojoba, or olive oil. Massage 2 to 3 minutes. Leave 20 to 30 minutes or overnight. Use 2 to 3x weekly. If you want instant stimulation, this is the oil. Oil number 5. Pumpkin seed oil. The silent DHT blocker for thickening crown and hairline. Pumpkin seed oil has become a 2025 superstar for hair growth, especially for men and women experiencing hormonal thinning or pattern baldness. Why? Because pumpkin seed oil is one of the strongest natural DHT blockers discovered so far. What makes it special? It contains delta-7, sterine, zinc, vitamin E, omega-9, fatty acids, antioxidant carotenoids. These compounds reduce DHT binding, the hormone responsible for shrinking follicles. The study that changed everything. A landmark study showed that pumpkin seed oil increased hair count by up to 40% in people with moderate thinning over 24 weeks. That's huge, especially for a natural oil. Why it works so well for people 50 plus and 60 plus. After 50, DHT sensitivity increases hormone shifts, speed up follicle shrinkage. Crown plus front hairline become more vulnerable. Pumpkin seed oil reduces this shrinkage and increases the growth phase of follicles. Other benefits: reduces scalp inflammation, supports strong regrowth, improves texture and fullness, decreases miniaturized thin strands, supports circulation mildly. Best for crown thinning, widening part lines, receding corners, hormonal thinning, menopausal hair changes. How to use topical use, the method in this video focus. Warm 1 tablespoon oil massage into crown. Hairline leave 45 minutes or overnight wash with gentle shampoo use 3 weeks, weekly oral pumpkin seed oil capsules. Also work, but this script focuses on topical application only. Results: 2025 reports, visible. Thickening in 6 to 12 weeks. Crown coverage improves stronger, new growth, reduced shedding within 4 to 6 weeks. This oil is a favorite because it targets the biggest root cause, DHT, without medication. The overnight routine for faster results. Now that we've covered the 3 oils, here's the simple before-bed routine that so many people over 60 are using in 2025, and why they're waking up to healthier, fuller-looking hair. This routine is gentle, natural, and incredibly effective when done consistently. You only need 5 to 7 minutes. Step 1. Choose your oil for the night. Rotate between castor oil, rosemary, plus carrier oil, coconut oil. Rotating keeps the scalp responsive and avoids buildup. Step 2. Warm the oil slightly. Warm oil increases absorption and circulation. Do not microwave it. Just rub it between your palms or place the bottle in warm water. Step 3. Apply directly to thinning areas. Focus on crown hairline sides. Widest part in the middle. Thinning usually starts here because these areas receive the least circulation after 60. Step 4. Massage for 5 minutes. Use fingertips, not nails, and massage in circular motions. Why this matters? A 5-minute massage boosts scalp circulation by nearly 25 to 30%. Follicles love that. Step 5. Leave overnight. Leaving the oil overnight allows deeper penetration, longer nourishment, better absorption, reduced inflammation, stronger follicle support. Just protect your pillowcase or use a hair wrap. Step 6. Rinse with a gentle shampoo in the morning. Older scalps don't tolerate harsh shampoos. Well, avoid sulfates, parabens, heavy fragrance. Choose something mild and moisturizing. Step 7. Repeat 3 to 4 nights weekly. Consistency beats intensity. Doing it regularly works far better than doing it rarely. All right, that's where we're wrapping up for today. If anything in this video made you think, wait, I can actually fix this, then that's your sign to start tonight. Small steps add up fast, especially when it comes to your hair. And hey, if you learned something new, or if you're planning to try one of these oils, let me know down in the comments. I really do read them. Before you head out, tap like, drop a comment, share this with someone who might need it, and of course, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next part. Nothing formal. Just stick around. We're building something helpful here. See you in the next one.